Hey, hey, hey.
Hey, 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 what's good?
Come
Happy
on in,
Easter.
folks.
What you
Happy
celebrate?
Easter. Me and D Pops and Sunday.
Me and D Possum Sunday. It's a Sunday fun day.
Yeah, he said, whoa. He's excited.
Yeah, they ready. They ready.
They're ready for us. Ready for it. Oh, well, let's make it happen. Coming to you live from the Sit Your Ass Down Studios. Welcome to the Me and D
Pops and Son.
podcast.
For that ass.
For that ass.
For that ass.
For that ass.
Mm.
Today is
Yo,
April
Diddy.
20th, 2025. We thank you all so much for listening to us. Remember the reason for the season. It's not
Remember the
about colored
reason.
eggs and bunnies. It's about the death, burial, and resurrection of Jesus Christ. If you are a believer, as we are, not trying to turn this into a church or sermon, but didn't I just preach? Can I get an amen?
Amen.
Amen. All
Amen.
right, let's pay our respects to some folks. Jeanette Brewer, my sister-in-law, your aunt passed away earlier this week. We want to, give our condolences to the
Absolutely.
family,
Mm-hmm.
those who are listening, those who'll be watching on our YouTube page. Former MLB player Tommy Helms passed away. Game show host Wink Martindale passed away. Wink.
Wink.
George Bell, America's tallest man, passed away. I
Damn.
think he was almost 8 foot tall.
Dang.
Yeah, it was 7. I want to say 7'11", something
That's
like
crazy.
that. 7 foot
What
10.
age did he die at?
Good question.
Oh, sorry, don't. You ain't gonna worry about it. Don't even worry about it. Cut that out.
To Miss Elaine Wynn, who passed away. She was married to Steve Wynn. The pair co-founded two major hotel and casino empires, Mirage Resorts and Wynn Resorts, helping reshape the Las Vegas landscape with such properties as the Mirage, Treasure Island, and the Bellagio. And to Joe Harris, the oldest surviving World War II paratrooper. So rest in peace to those folks. We pay our respects again to sister-in-law Jeanette Brewer.
Absolutely.
Your aunt. Birthday is being celebrated today. There weren't many athletes celebrated, so I mixed in a few celebrities as well. But to Lisa Irvin, American figure skater, she celebrates a birthday. Allen Houston, we talked about him, I think, on the Outside the NBA a couple weeks ago. Celebrates a birthday, played for the Knicks and the Pistons.
Yep.
Lamont Murray, basketball forward, played for the Clippers. To actor Shamar Moore.
Oh, Shamar Moore.
Shamar celebrates a birthday. He's 55 today. Actress and singer Carmen Electra is 53.
Okay.
Actor Joey Lawrence from Blossom and Brotherly Love turns 49.
Joey.
Multi-instrumentalist Clay Cook of the Zac Brown Band is 47. Actor George Takei from Star Trek back in the day turns 88.
Okay.
And to actress Jessica Lange, she turns 76. Jessica Lange. Sports history on today, April the 20th. And they could have used a little bit of this last night from LeBron James. This happened back in 2017. LeBron James finishes with 41 points, 13 rebounds, and 12 assists.
Ooh.
As the Cavaliers set an NBA postseason record by erasing a 25-point halftime deficit to beat the Indiana Pacers 119 to 114.
They needed that.
And they took a 3-0 lead in that series. Cleveland trailed by 26 in the first half and was still down 74-49 at halftime. The largest halftime deficit overcome to win a playoff game had been 21 points by Baltimore against Philadelphia back in 1948. In 2014, B-Hop, Bernard Hopkins, 49, becomes the oldest to win a unification light heavyweight bout as he captures a split 12-round decision over 30-year-old Bibit Shumanov of Kazakhstan. Hopkins, who improves to 55-6-2, retains his IBF title and wins the WBA and IBA belts. Crazy. 2008, this lady has disappeared off the map. She's one of my favorites for quite a while. Lorena Ochoa becomes the first LPGA Tour player in 45 years to win 4 tournaments in consecutive weeks. Ochoa shoots a 369 in the final round of the Gin Open and beats rookie Yanni Singh by 3 strokes for her 5th victory in 6 starts. Mickey Wright did it in 1963. In 2008, Danica Patrick becomes the first female winner in IndyCar history, capturing the Indy Japan 300 in her 50th career start. Patrick takes the lead from pole sitter Helio Castroneves on the 198th lap in the 200 lap race and finishes 5.8 seconds ahead of Castroneves. So she barely beat him out, but she did win. 1997, Chicago's Michael Jeffrey Jordan wins an unprecedented 9th scoring title with an average of 29.6 points.
Crazy.
The first time in those 9 seasons that he fails to average at least 30 points.
Ooh, that's crazy.
1996, in the NFL draft, Keyshawn Johnson from Southern Cal was the first pick by the New York Jets. In 1967, New York Mets pitcher Tom Seaver wins his first game. He is a Hall of Famer. And in 1944, this is crazy, the NFL legalizes coaching from the bench. Don't know where they were coaching from before. I don't know if they were standing in the middle of the field.
Hey, you can't coach from the bench. I see him coaching from the bench.
I guess they were in the field.
Yeah, I guess, would it allow other coaches to coach? Maybe just the head coach could have coached on the sideline, but nah, you was getting bench coaching. You was cheating.
Or maybe you was straight behind the quarterback.
Right.
Like you were like right behind the play watching everything unfold.
Nah, yeah, that's illegal. You can't coach from the bench.
Can't coach from the bench, but they legalized it in 1944.
That's
I thought
crazy.
that was a little interesting.
That is interesting.
And while we're on the topic of the NFL, we are days away from the NFL draft, where the Monday night crew, me, D, I know AM and the PM will be joining us. May have another guest or two. We will be live on our YouTube channel, the Me and D Pops and Son channel, starting at 7 o'clock.
Yep.
And that may or may not change. It just depends on what time the draft really starts. I've seen 7. They said 8 Eastern time, which is 7 Central our time. But we will be live for that first pick. Whatever time that is, we will be on and we'll be live. That'll be our first live stream. So I'm excited about that. My first question to you, son, where will Shedeur Sanders go? Will he go to the Giants at 3? Or will he go to Cleveland at 2? Or will he slip down past that? Maybe make it to those Saints at number 9. Where do you foresee Shedeur going?
I can see him going to the Saints. I don't think he should fall past 9. I don't know if he'll make it all his way to the Steelers, who need a quarterback too as well.
21.
At 21, which will still be the first round. It would be a slip. But honestly, I feel like as long as you get drafted in the first round, or for his caliber, he is a first round draft pick. I know the allure of getting in the top 10, especially with all the hype and everything. But at the end of the day, as long as you get an opportunity to play in the NFL, I think it shouldn't matter. Now, I mean, New York needs a quarterback. Cleveland needs a quarterback in that room too as well, because they're both in the same position. They got veterans. They got veteran quarterbacks, and they got just a secondary quarterback, a good backup. But you still need someone who's going to extend the franchise, basically. They still need a franchise player and someone who can take over the locker room for years to come down the line. It's going to be tough to say. I don't think he's going to fall past the Saints, especially with how Derek Carr, he's going to be out for the season. You're not putting a lot of faith in Spencer Rattler, but I don't think he should fall past the Saints. But I can see him going to the Saints though. But I don't think either of those teams should pass up on him on a quarterback like a Shedeur. But I can see him going to the Saints, I want to say.
Okay. I agree. We already know Cam Ward is going to Tennessee, so that's why I didn't even mention that. He's obviously the lock for number 1. As you mentioned, Cleveland picked up Joe Flacco. They signed Kenny Pickett.
Right.
But again, they're a team that needs a quarterback for the future.
Yeah.
Someone who can learn from Flacco. He can learn from Pickett. And the same with the Giants. You got Russell Wilson. You got Jameis Winston. So you have proven quarterbacks for Cleveland and Giants, where Shedeur could come in. There wouldn't be any pressure on him.
Right.
And he can sit back and he can learn from a veteran or veterans Depends on how it goes. If he does somehow slip, though, past the Giants, then I do see him going to New Orleans. I think that would be a great fit with the new coach, Kellen Moore,
New
who's
coach.
offensively minded. Going past there, I really don't see it. I think
Right.
the teams above that, if they don't take him, and I can't remember who's 4, 5, and 6, or do I? Because I know the Raiders is 6, because I think they're talking about taking Ashton Genty at that
Mhm.
spot. But that'd
Yeah.
be another good place for him to land as well.
Right.
Vegas be with Pete Carroll. He can learn behind Geno
Geno.
Smith, who just signed a contract extension. So I think it's an interesting place for him. I know he won't be at the draft, which I think that's a great move. They announced that months ago that he wasn't going to attend, neither
Yeah,
is
he don't want to
Shiloh,
be. Yeah.
which I haven't heard much talk about Shiloh, where he might go.
Yeah, they
So
be shitting on Shiloh.
that should be the headline for today's podcast.
He be shitting on
Sitting
Shiloh.
on Shiloh, but
What is Shiloh?
I can be
I don't know.
itching on Shiloh.
What
Our
Shiloh
team's
do?
itching on Shiloh.
Because they saying Shiloh's probably around second round, third round.
I was thinking third or fourth
I
round.
think second round would be high side. Slipping to like the fourth round would be like, okay. I think 2 to 4 around there. Third round.
I
would
think
be
third
nice-
is perfect.
perfect for your
Mhm.
for speed, size, caliber. He's a good
He's going to
football
be
player.
good. He's just not
Yeah.
his dad.
No, he's
And
not
I don't think
dad.
his
And
upside
they-
as much as it is for Shador,
right.
who I think can be a star in the league. If he goes to the right situation, he can be a star.
But they're retiring Travis Hunter's and Shador's numbers at Colorado.
I'm glad you brought that up.
Shiloh. They were like, no, you only get 2. You only get 2.
Things are looking shallow
Things are
for
looking
Shiloh.
shallow for Shiloh.
But okay, I'm glad you brought that up too. Don't you think it's fast to retire someone's numbers? They didn't win the Natty. They lost in the bowl game that they went to. I can see 5 years down the line, they still haven't retired Cordell Stewart.
I was about to say Cordell
They
Stewart's
haven't
number.
retired Cordell. They had Rashawn Salam, who won a Heisman Trophy.
Rashawn Salam.
They hadn't retired his number.
Lincoln.
So why the hell are you? I get it. They did a lot for the school, brought a lot of notoriety,
Mm-hmm.
but you can let it breathe for at least 5
it breathe.
years. Let it breathe.
Let it breathe.
They're celebrating, if I'm not mistaken, holding the draft on campus.
Oh, for real?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think that's just all. I think that's all.
Undriven.
That's all Deion right there, because no other coach partly brought it up to the, I guess, the people who had to get it approved, because these type of things have to get approved and things by the school. But you know, Deion, the way he is, the way he's saying, we're gonna have to retire these people, man. If you don't retire these people right now, I think he
I'm
brought.
not coming back.
I'm
I'm
not
going to the Cowboys.
Right, he said something to where these people had did so much for the program, bring on this exposure. Travis was a Heisman. They're about to
So
go.
was Rashawn Salam.
Right. But yeah, that's all Deion.
It has to be Deion driven.
Sanders right there, just saying, hey, we got to retire these guys right now. They about to be in the first round, and now, it's almost damn. They technically still at.
They
Colorado.
are still in college. Yeah.
Like they're still at Colorado. They're not in the NFL. They haven't got drafted. Yet.
Right.
So,
Right.
yeah, like where's the wait the
You didn't let it
4
breathe.
years? Yeah, you didn't let that mug breathe at all.
Not a minute.
Not a minute or a second. But
Man.
yeah, that's all Deion right there.
He just brewed up the beer and put it in the bottle and opened it
Cracked it. Right.
He cracked it right.
Didn't even let it cool down. Right. Didn't let it cool down.
He didn't let it cool down. He took the beer right out the vat, poured it in. I'm not even gonna cap it. Man,
Get that point.
I ain't even gonna cap this. I'm just gonna drink it right now.
You got the bottles ready. You don't even need the bottles.
Don't even need it. Just pour it in my hand. Like
Right.
like Chris Rock used to say,
Put it in my hand.
for 50 cents.
How much for a rib? He pulled out the water can. That's what killed me. He pulled out the water can. He had a knife.
He had a stack.
Hey, that's budgeting. Hey, the buddy was budgeting.
But that's they always say you don't get rich by spending all your money.
you know, let's see what I got.
You break 100. Oh boy, you about to break his neck.
Man,
That's a funny scene.
funny this day.
All right. My second question, D, what's the biggest need in your opinion for your Falcons?
Defense, edge rusher. I wanted,
Okay.
man, I wanted Aiden Hutchinson. I wanted Nick Bosa. The list goes on, man. With a disruptor, a pass rusher. You look over the years of what they can do for your defense and just
Mm-hmm.
to step it up. I think we're good on safety. I think we're good on corner. Linebackers are decent. I wouldn't mind another strong linebacker, maybe outside linebacker, but or maybe like an outside linebacker, DN rusher hybrid, something like that, like a Micah Parsons or something like that, someone who can play in the dirt and can stand up as well. But I'm looking for an edge rusher. I know
Okay. Anybody in
defensive.
mind? Anybody that you got your eye on that's
No one I
in the
had
draft?
no one I had in mind particular, but I feel if we can get someone who can get after the quarterback, it just it makes our not only our defense better, but it's gonna make our offense better because you're gonna get more rep. If we can stall some people out 4 and out more often, okay, that's
Mm-hmm.
gonna give us more opportunities on the offensive side
And
to
change your
create some
field
and
position.
change the field position, make a play. So I'm looking for a defensive pick. I know that's what I was looking for last year, but we ended up getting Michael Penix Jr., which ended up working out in our favor. Now that he's gonna be the starter, so now that we got the quarterback, we got the running back, you got the receivers.
Right.
Now the O line, when it's healthy, we got a decent O line that can protect the quarterback and open up lanes for Bijan. Let's go get some defense, man. Let's go get that
Right.
edge rusher. Let's go get that pass rusher just to bring that tenacity, bring that toughness. Because a lot of teams that you see in the playoffs, their defense is tough, man. It's tough to play against them. So that's what I'm
Mm-hmm.
looking for. I'm looking for a pass rusher of some sort.
Yeah, for my 49ers, I'm looking for someone on the offensive line, especially with Trent Williams getting
I was just about to
older,
say, yep, him getting older.
older, often injured these last couple of years.
Right.
I need somebody on that side of the ball to protect Brock Purdy so that
Purdy.
he has time to get the passes off, especially if they do sign him to this rich contract, which, man, I'm hoping and praying that they reach some kind of agreement because the best that he can do if they franchise tag him is $5 million. Well, he's better than a $5 million quarterback. You got backups making that kind of
Yeah.
money, but
Right.
he's not a $50 million quarterback either.
Definitely
I mean,
not.
I'm torn. I'd almost, and I've said this, I'd put together a nice package, and maybe they're working on it, where you get some picks and you draft a Shador. Hell, I've even
Ooh.
said this. I've gone on record as
Wow.
saying I would take Aaron Rodgers for 1 year in that system.
Are we talking
Uh,
about him?
yeah, we are.
Okay. Okay, I'm about to say. Okay, I'm
Yeah,
about to
we.
say because I'm.
He's coming up soon.
Okay, I'm about to say. I
But I
know
would
we got
even
to talk
take
about
him for
him.
1 season. That was always his dream to play for the Niners. Could you see him in that system with still the weapons that they have? I
He still
mean,
got. If as long as you can protect him. I mean, he is
if you
still
can protect him,
spinning.
his arm is still strong,
Yeah,
and he's
he's
still
still
got a lot of
spinning.
zip on the ball.
Yeah, he's not there, but that's why you protect him. You get him some
Right.
protection so he doesn't have to move as much. But he's still ball placement, product
Mm-hmm.
placement. Still puts it
Product
in
placement, which, yeah. Speaking of which,
product placement. Yeah, I
just
got mine
just
in the
just
fridge.
had that.
Right.
Might need get another one in a little
Have
bit, but
definitely gonna have one.
seriously, I just think they would be better off trading him. And I love him to death. He's done a great job going from Mr. Irrelevant to leading the team to the Super Bowl.
Right. The story's nice.
Say that.
I said the story is nice.
It's a great story.
But he's not. You're not gonna pay. I'm not paying you all this money, especially you gonna
And then I can't do
stronghold.
anything else
Right. You
on the side of the
stronghold.
ball.
No, sir.
I can't do it. I'm gonna be hamstrung for probably another 2 to 3 seasons.
Right.
They got lucky that the Trey Lance thing didn't come back to bite them when they jumped up and drafted him third. They traded picks, and that's the other thing. They traded all those picks away, jump up to
Get
third,
him.
only to trade him away and let him go a couple seasons later. They dodged that bullet
Right.
by Purdy panning out.
Purdy.
But man, you got to come to some agreement. And look, dude, we love you. You can thrive in this offense for years, but not at $50 million a year. That
No.
it's not gonna happen.
No,
and
sir.
it's not gonna happen.
Not
So
gonna happen.
no. So going back to my original point, we need someone that can protect whichever quarterback, whoever it is, especially on that left side. They've
Strong
mentioned
side.
Kelvin Banks out of Texas, Armin Mimbu out of Missouri, and then Josh Simmons out of Ohio State. Just a couple of players that have been mentioned or linked to the Niners who will draft at number 11. And this will be their first time in the top 20 in
I was
quite
about
a
to
while,
say,
if I'm
it's been
mistaken.
a while since the 49ers had
Been a while. Also
top
means they
20
sucked
pick.
last year, too.
Yeah, that's what that means. That's what
It
that
al-
means.
it also means they sucked last year. They
Right.
didn't go far in the playoffs.
Falcons is always around there. Besides, it's never. We're always top 10. We always, which is messed up to be like, man, we can't. Ain't nothing come from that. We're having
Right.
I guess it's here lately.
It's
I think
starting to
I think
build.
it's
You're
gonna
starting to
it's
build something.
with Drake London and
hmm
Bijan was a real good pick.
Kyle Pickens.
Kyle Pickens, AJ Terrell is a good
hmm
pick. So I think it's starting to come into fruition. It just needs to. We just need a quarterback. You know
Now
what I'm
you
saying?
got one. You got
Now we got one.
You,
Oh yeah,
you
I
got your
one.
franchise quarterback for years to come, as long as he stays healthy. We always had to put that caveat in there.
As long as
he's healthy.
He said Michael Penix Jr. He never takes his do rag off.
Now that's a shame. I hope he switches it. They got to be kind of oily by now.
Earring backs.
As you mentioned, it's funny, man. You must have seen my script. Being that we're playing GM, how would you have told Aaron Rodgers that his services no longer were needed?
Hey, we was talking about this, and it's almost damn if you do, damn if you don't.
Right.
Aaron Glenn, I feel like that's how I would have went about it, as a respect as a man.
You want to give a little background as to how it went down?
Aaron Glenn, I believe they had a conversation. Aaron Glenn flew him out.
Oh, remember he kept saying he flew on his own dime. That was his phrase.
He flew on his own dime.
I flew on my own dime. He kept saying that over and over.
Yeah. Okay.
Go ahead, I'm sorry. So.
Because I was trying to piece. I didn't know he flew on his own dime.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah. So he flew. They flew out. They had a face-to-face conversation. Aaron Glenn wanted to pretty much say the Jets we're moving in a different direction.
Mm-hmm.
I wanted to do it face-to-face as man-to-man. Then Aaron Rodgers goes, "Oh man, you could have texted me that." But I think
they would have been considered spineless if they did do it that way, though.
Right now, if we would have done it through email, text, just a phone call conversation, it would have been spin. Oh, that's cowardly. That's not how a man goes about it. But then you do fly on your own dime, which I mean, like you ain't part of the team no more. Why am I paying for you to get flown out? Like you would.
That should have told him right then and there what the thoughts were.
Yeah. Well, I sent you some flights that you can book.
And coach,
let me know which one you pick, and then we can meet up somewhere. Because no, I'm not going. It's damn if you do, damn you know. How would
they could have met? But they could have met in the middle of the country, though. Yeah. They could have met here in St. Louis. They could have met in Kansas City.
Flown them all the way out.
You had to make the man fly all the way from California to New York.
Nah, he does got a point to where, man, y'all just gonna let me go. That's almost like your job. They bring you in, they let you work the whole day, and then just to tell you you're fired.
Damn. Done that before. I've done that to people before.
Oh. Wait, but
I'm just saying.
There's two ways to looking at that. At least you got a whole day's worth of check on your last check, and you didn't. But you know how some people be like, "Well, you could have just left me home from the day."
They kill me with that, but you wouldn't have made any money.
You wouldn't have made any money.
At least you made some money.
There's two ways to look at. There's two ways to look. He said, "Yeah, we did that last week." He'll let you work.
There's a right and a wrong way to fire somebody.
Right. So how would as a man, we face to face. I owe you a level of respect.
Exactly.
I respect you as a player for what you tried to do, for who you are, just what you done for the game in general.
Mm-hmm. 4-time MVP.
Right.
Super Bowl winner.
Right.
Maybe he could have gone through his agent. I don't know, but still, that might have been, to me, that's still just spineless.
I think like a face-to-face was the right way to go.
I think it's face-to-face is the right way.
You just let him just be in his feelings. You can't control how someone reacts, but you can control what you did. Hey, we met face-to-face. I told you as a man, I appreciate you. I respect you. Now, if you took it to where, well, we could have just done that. I can't control that. That's how you feel. Sorry for you. But I did it the way a man should have done it. So I agree with Aaron Glenn.
No, it was a no-win situation.
It was a no-win situation.
Like, so damned if you do, damned if you don't.
Yeah, have some integrity. But also from the player, if I'm the one getting fired or whatever, it's almost like, well, damn, bro.
You wasted half my day.
You could have done a FaceTime if you want to do it face-to-face.
Right. And that might have been better. Yeah,
We
just
do
do a
got that
Zoom.
now.
Just do a Zoom
Zoom.
call.
Yeah,
Yeah,
like that's still professional,
that's
and
still
and I
professional.
don't
Yeah,
you ain't got to waste your money, and you ain't got to fly out here on your own dime,
on your own
and
dime,
it was
burn up
still
all
face to
that
face.
gas,
Right,
putting the fumes in the atmosphere, the exhaust fumes. Yeah,
right.
it could have saved a lot of time and trouble, but
Yeah, he did. He could have.
yeah, I think now that we say that, video
Time.
might have been the better
Yeah,
means to go.
Zoom or a video call.
Mhm.
Still face to face. I'm still telling you, still acknowledge you.
I want to look at you while I'm saying this.
Right, right.
Yeah, I'm not texting. I'm not. Yeah, leaving
Hiding
you a voice
behind.
message.
Right. Hold on, you
Hey,
call.
hey
Oh,
man,
voicemail.
and then hang up real quick.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Hey man, don't pick up. Don't pick
You
up.
you ain't even gotta call me back.
Right. It'll be on the news later on the night.
Right. Yeah, yeah. Watch the news later. Watch the news.
NBA playoffs are off and running, D.
Oh man.
So
Ooh,
today's games, we'll talk about today first. We got the Grizzlies at the Thunder. The
that's gonna be good.
Grizzlies, man, they went the play-in route, made it into the actual playoffs. They got the Thunder. You got the Magic, did the same thing. They'll take on the Celtics. Then you got the Heat, who had to play their way in. Got the
Man.
Cavs, and then Warriors at the Rockets.
Warriors.
That's the late game, though, man. But I'll be up for it. I'll be watching. It starts at 8:30. That's not late.
It's not too
But
bad.
some of those 9:30, 10 o'clock games, it's just, man,
To be running.
it's going to be
Late.
crazy. The game
Yep.
against Memphis the other night didn't start until late. And I was in the bed trying to watch it on the phone. And I'm like, I got to just get up because as Memphis started chipping away at that lead, I couldn't relax.
Right.
And I'm like, I just got to get up and watch this, whether they win or lose, because I can't lay here and be comfortable.
Right.
But they did get in. They will take on Houston, and they're actually favored to beat the Rockets in the series.
That's crazy. That's like the first time in I forgot when, how long.
Well, 2022 is when they won the championship. So three seasons ago.
3 seasons,
And
17.
playoff Jimmy is real. I believe it. I saw it. He took over that game against Memphis the other night. Almost 40 points.
It's real.
It's real. And
real.
the thing I love about his game is he gets to the basket.
Bro, it's not shot selections.
Yeah, but a lot of times too, he gives up easy twos again to kick it back out for that three. That donkey Buddy Hield ends up missing quite often.
Yeah. They were killing. It made me so mad when the Hawks was facing Miami Heat and we took the lead and we were just taking.
You walked them down.
Walked them down. Came all the way
22
back.
points. Yeah.
Took the lead, and then we still start chucking up these threes when we could have just gone to the basket, man.
Just like you had been doing, right?
And you know who was killing us? Tyler Hero with some mid-range game.
Yeah.
He was doing the same mid-range. He was getting to a spot, the elbow extended, doing a 1-2, get to his spot, little step back.
And you know he's gonna do it, and they can't stop it.
And they couldn't stop it. And that's what kept them in the game. And they eventually beat us in overtime, and we couldn't. And I'm just like, damn, bro, like quit shooting these and they were bad.
Especially when you get a big lead.
They were bad.
Yep. And that's what happened. That's how the Grizzlies got back in that playing game against the Warriors. You get a 20+ point lead, and you start, like you say, chucking up threes, and they're getting the rebound, and all they're doing is driving, getting a couple twos. Then they'll take a three, and they're really cutting into the lead, and then you're still shooting threes. Then you get they have a couple turnovers in the mix, and they're just driving to the hole. There's got to be somebody has to stand up and say, look, man, take these twos. Only certain players, everybody can't shoot threes like Steph.
Right.
And even Steph takes threes sometimes that make me, come on, Steph.
Do we really
you just broke the whole momentum of the offense with this early, quick, ill-advised three when you could have just let the play set up and possibly got a closer shot and a more favorable shot. But anyway, we got some good games today. Yesterday, results from Saturday's opening round games. Pacers down the Bucks 117-98. Nuggets stunned the Clippers 112-110 in overtime. That was a good game.
That was a real good game.
Knicks beat the young Pistons 123-112. And then the Timberwolves gave the Lakers an LAPD Mississippi mud stomping ass whipping.
And
117-95, D.
I had Lakers coming out that series, but talking to Trey, who's on the outside the NBA. Y'all go watch the
T Page, T
outside the
Peasy.
NBA. Trey T Peasy. He's got the Wolves. He got the Timberwolves. He's been saying Timberwolves
He has.
from the start of it. Shout out to Trey Page. They got that first game yesterday, and he was like, "See, I told you." I'm like, "Hey, you might be right. Hey, you might be right."
On the Lakers for home floor. That's the
floor,
key. Yeah.
I still got the Lakers because I can still see them turning up. But I would not be surprised. Like the game yesterday was an eye opener and saying, man,
When Luka scores 37 and they still get blown out,
that tells you
that's
something.
a problem. That's a problem.
Big problem. That's a big problem.
LeBron only had 19. That's what I said earlier when I was mentioning that history. They could have used a 41-point effort from him because they needed. That's what they needed. Yeah, we'll be talking more NBA. Like I said, we'll be recording tomorrow night outside the NBA, which will be released later on this week. So yeah, look out for that as well. So the 2025 WNBA draft was held this past Monday night, the 14th. Dallas Wings took UConn's guard, Paige Becker's number 1. We knew she was going to be the number 1 pick. We knew that almost a year ago. Seattle Storm at number 2 took Dominique Malanga, center out of France. The Washington Mystics took Sonia Citron, guard out of Notre Dame. They had back-to-back picks. Matter of fact, they had 3 picks in the first 6. So they took Sonia Citron out of Notre Dame, 3rd. They took Kiki Irifin out of USC. Okikiola, I think that's how you pronounce her real name. But Kiki Irifin forward out of USC. The Golden State Valkyries took Uste Oyisite. Oyisite. She's guard from Lithuania. And in the words of the great speaker, Pootie Tang, that means tippy tie on the pody tape. Uste Oyisite. Sadat.
Here's the tay, my Damie. Yo, that's a good. Yo, that is good. Oh, that's a classic.
Nothing like a good Pootie Tang.
Oh my gosh, Pootie Tang.
Number 6. Number 6.
Be tied. Originate. Hey.
Number 6, the Washington Mystics took Georgia Amore, guard out of Kentucky. Number 7, Connecticut Sun took Anissa Morrow, forward out of LSU.
Okay.
Connecticut Sun also took Sanaya Rivers, number 8, guard out of NC State.
All right.
At 9, you had Sarah Ashley Barker, went to the Sparks, guard out of Alabama. And then the Chicago Sky had back-to-back picks. They took Asia Sivka, forward out of Slovenia. And then at 11, they also took Haley Van Lith, guard out of TCU.
Okay.
Girlfriend of Jalen Suggs for the Orlando Magic. Yeah, I didn't know that.
Yeah, I didn't know they was together.
Mm-hmm. And then in the 12th and final pick in the first round, Dallas Wings took Isaiah James, guard out of NC State.
Okay.
Now, South Carolina was well represented in the top 20. They had 3 picks that went in the second round and within the top 20, so good for them. Someone who wasn't drafted, Sedona Prince. I don't know if you've seen that. Mm-hmm. She had several domestic violence allegations. Damn. She played for TCU this past season. She's been accused of assault by 4 different women, and that deterred teams from drafting her. So we're going to keep an eye on that.
Damn.
But it just goes to show it don't matter if you're male or a female. If you're putting your hands on people,
that shows
as an athlete, to derail your career.
Teams want to stay away from that. They don't want head cases. They don't want the Tyreek Hills. They don't want they don't want all these. Just okay, we got you on the team, but now we're always in the headlines for the wrong reasons.
For the wrong reason.
Yeah, we don't want that publicity in our locker room. And like you said, it doesn't man or woman. It's a character issue. It's a character thing. There's a character ability. And that's what a lot of athletes, students have to realize. Yeah, you can have all the talent in the world, but solely on your character. You can get drafted at high or low just based on your character and
Mm-hmm.
as a person who you are. Is this person good? Are they got good intentions? Do they give back to the community? Are they punctual? Are they just simple stuff? Just simple stuff. Yeah.
Can
So
either
that's
earn or lose you money.
earn or
There's a
lose
good
money.
chance she's probably going to play overseas just to realize her dream of playing professionally,
Right.
just because of these relationships that
That's
she's
crazy.
been in, and it always ends up with her putting her hands on someone. I think one of the things, she forcibly kissed a female, so she's pretty aggressive. Yeah,
Damn.
you got to go back and read her history
Damn.
she'll probably end up playing overseas. I'll just say it like that. I don't know if a team is going to take that chance on her. Being she's a good ball player, but yeah, she's not worth the headache.
Right. Not worth the headache.
Going back, Rory Masters Augusta.
Okay.
So after an epic meltdown when he last held a lead on Sunday at the Masters, Rory McIlroy had struggled to chase down a green jacket, and he almost let it slip again. But I say almost. He led after 54 holes at Augusta National in 2011. He had a 4-stroke lead, but shot an 8 over 80 in the final round and finished tied for 15th. This year, he held a 2-stroke lead and played roller coaster golf all day before he had to go into a playoff against Justin Rose, and he sunk the winning putt on the 73rd hole, won his first green jacket, completed the PGA Slam, so he's won all 4 majors now. So congratulations to Mr. Rory McIlroy.
Hey, Roy.
But I had a split screen going between that and the Warriors game on Sunday, and he was just up and down. He'd get a 2-stroke lead, then he'd bogey or double bogey, and then he didn't have the lead, or he'd be tied for the lead. He had a chance to win it outright, missed an easy 4-foot putt, and to force the playoff or cause the playoff. I'd say Justin Rose forced the playoff. Rory went into the playoff, but he did win it on the first hole in the playoff, and congratulations to him. So
yeah, shout out to Roy, man. Shout out to Roy. Good for him.
Man, that's a long time to be sweating, trying to get to your ultimate goal, something that you had, like I said, within reach years ago. And he said he always wondered if he would ever get that chance to do it.
Right.
And he was able to pull it off. Like we said, congrats. It's not a sandwich.
It's not a panini.
It's not a taco.
It's not a burrito.
It's not a pizza. It's
a wrap. It's a wrap.
It's a wrap for analyst Lee Corso is leaving College Game Day on ESPN. And I'm not a big pregame show, whether it's college or NFL or NBA pregame show watcher, but I did watch College Game Day back in the day just to kind of see whose mascot he was going to choose to win the ball game.
Yep.
And that became a big trademark of his and a staple of the show. And these last few years, he hasn't been on as much. Just he's getting older, health wise. I hadn't been able to always be there, but
travel and stuff.
Yeah. Congratulations to him. He's got one more game left, and I guess it'd be the first game this season. I'm sure that's where it will be. I hadn't heard them announce what game it is, but he's got one game left, but he is calling it quits. And then also it's a wrap for Phoenix former head basketball coach Mike Budenholzer. He was given the Budenholzer.
Right, they were giving him Budenholzer.
Budenholzer got the Budenholzer.
Yeah, Budenholzer got the Budenholzer.
Now the Phoenix Suns are paying 3 coaches not to coach them anymore, which that's crazy within itself. Monty Williams, Frank Vogel, and now Mike Budenholzer. And the last 2 only lasted a season. I'm trying to figure out what are they doing? Yeah. I mean, you spend time and effort to hire a coach, and then you don't give that coach a chance. You don't give him much to work with.
You don't ride or let it see out or let it play it out. Like Monty, he took you to a championship, but you give him the boot for Frank Vogel.
Or took you to the
he took you to the championship.
Took you to the finals.
He took you to the finals. And then you let him go. Okay, then you give Frank Vogel a chance for him, but then you just let him go, give him the same treatment, and then you get Budenholzer, 1 year?
Both of them, Vogel and what's his name, only had one season.
One season. So what type of continuity are you going to build and bring
when you gave them nothing to work with.
Nothing to work with. You trying to make. I know they got Brad Beal, KD, and Devin Booker, but that's not working. Obviously, there's no chemistry.
Mhm.
I'm not gonna say they don't play team ball. Of course you do, but they're not able to shine in a role player standpoint. They can't be effective with limited possessions. They all have to have multiple possessions, get a feel for it, get a rhythm. That takes time to work up to. They're not just quick fire, hot right off the presses, ready to go. I don't know what they're doing as an organization. They're definitely not going to win anytime soon or be able to compete, especially
No.
with the West. If you keep firing coaches and you're not giving your coach, whatever coach you are bringing into, is going to be hesitant to take the job. I know job's a job. We're all looking for a job. You're going to take
And
it,
it's
but
one of 32. It's
right.
that whole
So-
scenario.
Right. So it's like you're going to take it, but also whoever does take it, you're going to have to keep your head on a swivel for sure, because if you don't produce, obviously if you don't produce, even if you don't have nothing to work with, you're on a chopping block.
And I wouldn't take the job until I knew the roster was solidified,
right.
because there's a strong chance that this is Kevin Durant's last season there. Bradley Beal has no trade clause in his contract, so he's likely to still be there. But are they still going to build around Devin Booker, or are you going to try to trade him and
Booker's
get you
gone.
some Devin Booker? Are they going to try to
No,
build around Devin? Did I say Devin?
You said Devin Booker. I was
Okay.
just saying, where did he go? Where
Where does game go?
where
Yeah.
did your game go? What happened to all
One
those
of them
players?
Jenner girls got it.
Hopefully it wasn't Caitlyn.
I forgot which one he was.
He was
It's
messing with-
Kylie, right?
Yeah, he was messing with Kendall. I think he was messing with Kendall.
Kendall, yeah, because Kylie's the one
younger
with
one.
Travis Scott,
Travis Scott's baby mama. Yep.
the billionaire with
Billionaire baby mama.
Yeah. Yeah, his game has disappeared though, just to put it in perspective. Yeah. We need to bring him up, but where'd your game go?
Your game caught an Uber to
Man. It caught that one that you don't need a driver, the one that
Yeah.
Steph and
Yeah. You didn't even know
Steph and
it
Nisha
right.
are
It just come-
co-sponsoring.
Can't pick you up.
Man, came and took his game and he hadn't found it yet.
Man.
Watch me as I walk away.
Watch me as I walk away.
So these are people, players, both men, women in football and basketball, who are entering the transfer portal. This one shocked me, D. Malaysia Fulwiley leaving South
Wiley.
Carolina, where she won a title last year, but her playing time was limited this past season. I knew something was up, and her game just didn't look.
It wasn't the same.
It wasn't the same, was it?
It
Yeah,
wasn't
she
like
just
Fulwiley
she never
was the
looked
same.
comfortable. She was turning the ball over a lot. She's not happy there, obviously, so she's looking to leave. Kennedy Urlacher, son of NFL Hall of Fame Brian Urlacher,
I was
he's
gonna
leaving
say.
Notre Dame to go to USC.
Okay.
Ryan Brown, quarterback for North Carolina, he's leaving. I don't know if Bill Belichick, Uncle Bill, ran him off, but he's leaving. Entered the portal. PJ Haggerty, player out of Memphis, he's leaving the basketball team,
Okay.
as well as Simeon Wilcher's leaving St. John's basketball program. So those are some of the players that are actively saying, watch me as I walk away.
Watch me as I walk away.
And one of the people who has walked away, we brought him up last week, Nico in the news part 2.
Nico, man.
Nico Iamaleava is leaving or has left Tennessee to go to, sounds like going to UCLA.
UCLA.
He's
Yep.
going home back to California, LA area. He's from Long Beach.
Okay.
But one thing we said last week that he didn't lead them to the playoffs. He actually did lead them to the playoffs.
Oh,
Tennessee played Ohio State in that first round.
They did.
Yeah, so I got to give him credit for that.
Did
Like I
good
said,
shit.
he didn't do a damn thing. He's going home. He's taking his talents
Back to the crib.
back to the crib, maybe where he's more comfortable, because Long Beach or Knoxville is a long,
Yeah.
far cry from L.A.
Culture way different.
Man, that's just a big culture shock. Obviously, he
culture
went
shock.
for the money. I'm just wondering, could he have gotten that money all along playing in his backyard?
Playing at his hometown.
I don't know, but Nico headed back to the West Coast. All right, it's time for the wild and the weird.
The wild and the weird.
Man, I said I was going to use this one, and I said I wasn't, but I can't get away from it because it's wild and it's weird.
Very.
Football coach who hijacked plane in Belize, taught at Hazelwood School, and owned Overland Home.
Damn.
Too close to home,
Right in the
not to-
backyard.
not to use this one.
Absolutely.
Akinula Taylor, who taught history in the Hazelwood School District and coached for McCourt North for a brief time, hijacked a small plane Thursday in what seemed to be an attempt to return to the United States. Taylor, who was shot and killed in the incident,
Damn.
stabbed a pilot and 2 passengers, one of which was licensed to carry a firearm and who subsequently killed Taylor. So
That's crazy.
that's all bad.
That's like
All bad.
some movie type stuff. Like, what you doing hijacking a whole plane?
They flew around in the air, D, for 2 hours before they finally figured out what to do. His thing was he wanted to land the plane. It was 14 passengers on the plane, so it was a very small plane. For whatever reason, he was trying to get back to the United States. I'm trying to figure out how this person was licensed to carry on board.
Pistol, right.
Unless he was the air marshal and they're just not telling us that's who that is or who that was. Because I just don't see you being able to carry a firearm on a plane
Right.
ordinarily. That's supposed to be stowed away. You can take a firearm with you if they once they search you and all that, and they stow it away in the underneath. I didn't think you're supposed to have a firearm on a plane.
Yeah, that's
But apparently this dude did. Apparently he
crazy.
had a license to carry, and he had a license to kill because they killed the brother.
So what was he doing? Was he on vacation or something?
Never
I don't
heard the
even know.
story of what
Yeah,
he
we
was
gotta go
doing
with that,
down
but-
there. They just said he was trying to return home. I don't know if he didn't want a free flight because he was already on the plane.
Right.
I
So
don't know.
maybe
They were headed to some island in Mexico, and he just jumped up and started stabbing people and insisted that they get back to the States.
yeah, but that wasn't gonna work out for you anyway, too. The route he took it, that would get you back to the States, but that was gonna get you back in the States in jail too.
Or get back to the States and get you killed as soon as you got off the
Right, as
plane.
soon as you got off the plane too. So the way you went about it, I'm trying to aim.
He couldn't,
Man,
but
ain't
the,
no-
the ticket that he bought to get on that plane, he couldn't buy that same ticket to come home. That's the part that
this-
makes sense.
That's what's wild and weird about it, because it's a lot of we're trying to fill in the blanks of what was the story behind that.
Right. And unfortunately, we'll never know.
We will never get it. It's
Yes,
crazy.
the wild, the weird, and the sad.
The wild and weird and the sad. That's crazy. You were Mission Impossible.
Big time. And it
Damn.
failed. It failed. Mission failed.
Mission incomplete.
Man. A little something on the side, D. I don't know
Let's
if
come
you
on the
saw this one.
side.
Have you invested any time into the Pauls? And I'm talking Jake and Logan. And,
All
they got a,
American?
yeah. Have you checked it out at all?
No, I saw the
Like the trailer for it?
trailer for it and stuff like that. Probably not gonna watch. It is a intriguing story. Like, I know they're gonna have to do some type of the amount of exposure they done, because you look at it, shoot, they have taken over entertainment
Later on today, Logan's headlining WrestleMania
at WrestleMania
on a
and-
Sunday. He's on the
Yes.
Sunday card.
Yeah, headliner. He ain't on
Headline. He's one.
Saturday.
Exactly.
He on Sunday.
He's on
Pops and-
Sundays.
He's on Pops and Sunday.
Exactly.
Man, so that's crazy that how they just pretty much have taken over the scene of entertainment. You got to give credit where credit's due. They do a great job.
I
of
can't knock
marketing,
the hustle. I
promoting.
just can't support it.
Right. I'm not a big fan of them. Not really gonna watch Paul American. That's with all the stuff that there is to watch. That's something I'm probably not gonna watch. But
Right.
hey, give credit where credit's due, man. They do a great job promoting themselves, putting themselves in spots to get money. That's what it's all about, man. To get that cheddar, get that bread,
Mhm.
reinvent yourself. They go from just being some influencers, some social media people, just crazy on social media, YouTube, Disney stars, to full-on athletes, to where they're in the WWE and in boxing, headlining in both events. Where
Right.
people, you got
Spending big dollars on them to
even
see
though
him.
he was finessing us. You had a fight with Mike Tyson that everyone tuned in to watch, and we still mad about it. But there was people who
Still very mad about it.
paid for it. He made a payday.
Yeah,
on
he made a
Netflix.
killing and was
Damn.
able to pass some along to Mike. So I can't
Man.
be mad at
I
Mike
can't
for
be
taking
mad.
the bait. But yeah, you got duped into playing stupid. But you got 20 million in the process. So how stupid was he in the
Right?
end?
Who's really the stupid one?
Right. Us for
Us
watching.
We're the stupid one.
We're the stupid ones.
Because we didn't get no 20 million.
Exactly. It's
We get
time
no
for a
money.
little product placement. Let's
Product
see here.
placement. Ooh.
Our juicy news segment is powered by Excess Energy Drink,
Energy drink.
pineapple, mango. Oh no, it's
Guava.
mango,
Pineapple.
pineapple, guava.
MPG.
Man, MPG, are you with me?
MPG, are you with me?
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
we have a church. We ain't going nowhere. Time for that juicy news.
Juicy news.
Cause if you don't know, now you know. Young brother, young sister, young player, Dwight Howard, P. Diddy, Porter, family, Cheetah.
Man, for that juicy news, because if you don't know, now you know. So this is a story that was on Juicy News prior to this, but it
Few
ended
weeks
up
back, yes,
few
sir.
weeks back. We're gonna go back into it because it ended just
Wild and
sadly,
weird.
wild and weird. Yeah, the ending is it's crazy. So bringing back the story of Kyron Lacy, this is a former LSU wide receiver who was actually entering the 2025 draft. He was accused of being involved in a fatal hit and run accident of December of 2024. He was charged with a negligent homicide, felony hit and run, recklessness of operation of a vehicle. Lacy alleged fled the scene of the crash without rendering any type of aid or calling the authorities. Details on the situation: December 17, 2024, a two vehicle crash occurred in Louisiana Highway 20. Lacy was driving a 2023 Dodge Charger and was accused of reckless passing multiple vehicles in a no passing zone. So a northbound vehicle swerved to avoid Lacy's Dodge Charger, but ended up colliding head on with another vehicle. 78-year-old passenger in the other vehicle, Herman Hall, died from the injuries. So Lacy, he was charged with negligent homicide, felony hit and run, and with death and recklessness of operation of a vehicle. Lacy initially turned himself in and was released on bail. Lacy defense attorney denied his client's responsibility for the crash. And then this is where it takes a turn for the worse. April 12th, 2025, Kyron Lacy was found dead Saturday night in Houston. Cause of death was immediately unknown, and he was passing. I think his attorney released a statement saying just through the process of social media, him being in the headlines, the pressure, his name being out there, pretty much all the pressure had gotten to the young man, and ultimately what we can allegedly assume was probably a suicide of some sort, or some way this was caused in a matter to where he knew something was going to go on. The pressure got to the young man, because we've seen this with other college athletes, reckless driving. Henry Ruggs when he was with the Raiders. Also, Jalen Carter from Georgia, when they won the national championship, they were racing and that ended up in a multi-car crash. And Jalen Carter, and fortunately for him, he didn't do any time, and he's with the Eagles now. But
just won a Super Bowl with
them. But for Kyron Lacy, he was entering the 2025 draft. The charges he was facing could have got to the young man. Ultimately, this could have changed his career. This might have been a reason for him not to get drafted to as well if he was convicted of these charges, if he was found guilty.
Right.
Also, just maybe just the guilt and the pressure on him, knowing that if there was a potential that he did cause this crash, and there was someone who their life was ended due to it, that pressure too as well. So unfortunately, the story comes to a sad conclusion for Kyron Lacy and the family, and also the people who were in the crash. It's a real sad story all around, from just the point of the car crash and that Kyron instantly was found dead Saturday. And he was a young man, a young individual. Mistakes happen, but I guess what we can learn from this is collegiate athletes and people all around, man. You got to make smart decisions. You got to be responsible. You can't be speeding. I know these fast cars, they go super fast and you're young, wild, and free, but there's always repercussions for anything. But just also want to give condolences to him and his
Mm-hmm.
family and just everyone involved, because this is a situation where it's just sad on all
It's
ends.
sad all the way around.
Whether he was still alive, and allegedly, if he did get guilty, that's a young man's career over. But and now with what actually happened, it still ended up to where he's no longer with us on Earth, and it's just sad all around. Just wanted to give this actually happened like last week as we were signing off. We found the story and wanted to reintroduce the story back on because we were talking about it, but it's just sad all around, man. It's just sad all around, just for just everyone who's involved.
Yeah.
That's the juicy news.
All right, son. Thank you. Now it's time for our pops, flops, and props.
Pops, flops, and props.
Oh, those pops, flops, and props. Who you popping?
Man, Pop's gonna go to the NFL draft, man. We got NFL draft coming up. Excited to see who the Falcons gonna get. Excited to see where the top prospects are gonna land. So I'm excited to see this NFL draft coming up.
Man, that was mine too. And mine was to the NFL for once again keeping us captivated all these months
Yep.
in anticipation for the draft. And yeah, it'll be here Thursday. And don't forget, we will be streaming live. As it's going on. We'll be giving you our thoughts and in between picks, who we think's going to be the next pick and why this is a good fit for this or that team. So who you flopping, son? Who you flopping?
Flops, even though they probably weren't going to do nothing, Flops going to go to the Atlanta Hawks, man. That game they lost against Miami, we walked them all the way down, took the lead, but was just making poor decisions. And it also goes back to Atlanta, what are you doing to get some more pieces that can contend for every year? The past couple years, we've been in the play-in, we've been in the AC, we've been 500. Make some moves, make some splashes, get some players so we can maybe get a sixth spot. Maybe we can get a fifth spot somewhere where we can compete. We got blasted by the Orlando Magic. So, man, it's just like we got a superstar. Trae Young is a superstar. He had one of his better years. Risa Shea, we did draft Risa Shea, the French player, where he's a European player. He can shoot and stuff like that. But we're still missing a lot of pieces that could contend for a championship. We're just barely scratching the surface when it comes to the play-in, and we're lucky if we get there. It just shows, man, organizational wise, GM wise, make some moves, make some splashes, support. You got Trae Young there, get some pieces that's going to support him so we can actually make a push, and we don't have to be in the play-in every year. But that was my flop.
All right, son. My flop's going to go to Aaron Rodgers, man. Stop being a crybaby. Either way it went, you weren't going to be happy.
Right.
Aaron Glenn and the Jets had to make a decision. They decided to go a different route, a different way, which you kind of knew that when the new regime came in. Like we said, probably the best way to have handled it was to get you on a face-to-face call, video call, and do it that way versus have you fly all the way to New York. I get that. But at the same time, man, you're a pro. You know how the business works.
It's business.
Man, stop crying. That's my flop. Who you propping, son? Who you propping?
Actually, I'm going to give a little props to the Timberwolves for making that. They blasted the LAPD ass kicking
Mississippi mud stomping
to the Lakers in a away game. They were in LA on the Lakers home court. But yeah, I give props to them because if we're gonna be seeing some. It's gonna be some interesting playoffs. So we're gonna see some upsets. But I'm gonna give props to the Timberwolves, man.
All right, I'm gonna give mine to Rory McIlroy for finally claiming his green jacket that he so much coveted. He finally got over the hump. All right, son. It's that time of the podcast of the show where we get to tell someone to sit your ass down. Man, sit your ass down. Please. And thank you. Who you telling, son?
My sit your ass down is going to your flop, man. Aaron Rodgers, man. Sit your ass down. I mean, this another year where we going, is he going to play? Is he not going to play? Is he good? Man, sit your ass down. Shoot, man. Here lately, and he's contemplating retirement. It wouldn't be a bad pick if he went to Pittsburgh or if he went to the 49ers. I know he expressed if he wanted to go back home and play and retire there. But, man, just sit your ass down. This is the part of the process. It's part of the NFL. There's a lot more players who've gotten in more dirtier. They've been more done dirty than you have. I think the allure of having an Aaron Rodgers in your locker room is still getting you a job in a sense where somebody's gonna take a shot with you, but also, are you willing as an organization for someone who is contemplating retirement? Do you really want to take?
Hmm.
Do you really want to take that? Because what they say, if he's contemplating retirement, he's already mentally retired.
Yep. You
He's
got a
already
got a foot already in the retirement though.
and it's not like things are just going to change. We're dealing with he's not a robot. These are humans, people with feelings. If he's not into it, do you really want to take a shot on him
Right.
leading your
Right.
franchise? And because it doesn't, he's cool either way. I'm gonna just retire after the season. I know like legacy, and you always want to go out on a high note and stuff like that, but he really doesn't. It's really not much for him. He can retire now.
He seemed like he could just walk in the middle of the season. I'm
Right.
knowing I'm done. I
You
just
know
don't
what?
have it.
I'm
Yep.
not vibing with the coach. I'm not
Yep.
vibing with the players.
I don't
And
need this.
I don't need this. And it seems like he would be that type of player to do that to a
Mhm.
franchise, just to walk right out on you without even no type of just, I'm not even going to show up today.
Yep.
Aaron Rodgers, I'm telling him, sit your ass down. And, man, just all the extraness is unnecessary. Do you want to play football or not?
Right.
Are you looking at teams or not? Are you trying to or not?
Quit holding teams hostage.
Yeah, quit trying to do this game, holding teams hostage and all this. I'm honestly, sit your ass down. Just go ahead and retire, bro. Because right now, it's a young man's league now. It's a young man's league. There's a lot of young, talented quarterbacks. And with this draft coming up, there's a lot of young, talented quarterbacks
Yep.
to pick from. So, man, that was my sit your ass down, man. Sit your ass down, Aaron.
All right. Mine is going to go to Phoenix Suns owner Matt Ishbia.
Yeah,
Ishbia, he's so rich. You got so much money. You can afford to pay 3 coaches to walk away, not even be around. And I'm not talking like chump change, because they had just redone Monty Williams's deal. And then you hire 2 new coaches. So, they got 3 to 5 years each. And you got to pay all of that. No settlement. You're paying all of that money because that was guaranteed to them.
right.
So, Matt Ishbia, man, sit your ass down. Decide what you want to do with the team. I was happy that he bought the team because I thought they were going to be on the way up. A young entrepreneur with money, deep pockets. Looked like he was going to do some good things with that team and make that the franchise out west that it had become. But all you've done is you traded away picks to get Kevin Durant. Now you want to get rid of Kevin Durant. So you basically don't have anything. You got a G League team, and you're holding your coaches to an NBA league standard, and you don't have that. And you're not going to have that for quite a while. Be happy that someone actually will take the job, but you got to put a roster together. But in the meantime, sit your ass down.
Sit your ass down.
Whew, man, son, this went by quickly on this
Full slate.
Easter Pops and Sons Sunday. I do have one correction to make. When I was doing history last week, I misspoke, and I said Barry Lamar Bonds had 755 home runs. That's the number of home runs that Hank Aaron hit. Barry Lamar Bonds hit 762. I just wanted to correct that because I heard it, and immediately I'm like, that's not right. That's Hank Aaron's number. I knew what I meant to say. And that 755 has been so etched in my brain since Hank Aaron achieved that. Yeah, I forgot to pass it along to Barry Lamar, who had 762 home runs. Yeah, I just want to make that correction because on here, we try to be as factual and as accurate as we can be. We don't have people behind the scenes to get the stats for statisticians. That's what, we had to dig up our own stats,
the numbers,
come up with the numbers ourselves. But anyway, man, this is another good one, son. Looking forward to the live stream on Draft Thursday. Please join us, share, put the word out, let people know that we will be on live. And it's just going to be a free for all. It's going to be a fun listen, fun time for us to talk a little football, talk a little trash, and that's about it. But as always, we thank you all for joining the Me and D
Pops and Son
podcast.
For that ass.
For that ass.
For that ass.
For that ass.
For that ass. No Diddy.
D. Tell him.
Hey, y'all. But until next time, I'ma holler.
He's gonna holler.
Peace, peace, peace.
Peace. Sarate.
Sarate.